Hello, everybody. This is Secondhand Dan coming to you from my secondhand land, also known as the Penny Pincher Thrift Shop, just outside of Pittsburgh, a couple miles east of Pittsburgh. I specialize in antiques and collectibles. I do a lot of practical items as well. But what I'm into today is I've got something on the workbench. So let's go back there and check it out. Here we have in the vise, the old Yost 104, is a natural gas valve. You see the inlet, that side, and the outlet on this side. It was nice when they said inlet on the other side, but I guess they figure outlet is what's left, but it doesn't say outlet on this side. But this valve was probably on a forced air furnace. In the past, I've replaced this kind of valve. I think the first time I did one was a furnace in a house I still own today, and that was over like 30 years ago. The furnace was acting up, so I found out I needed to replace a unit pretty much like this, if not even identical too. I don't know where I got this. But I thought, well, I've never tore one down to see what's inside. A lot of times it's fun to see what makes it tick, if we can understand what's making it tick. But this is the pilot. Take me to your pilot. I can't get it to turn. Maybe that's why it's here. Hold on. Turns out it's just really stiff. So when this is in your furnace and your furnace is off, maybe you turn it off for the season. Some people do that. Well, to light it, you'd have to push down on this and hold that down while reaching in with a match. Usually you have a match on like an alligator clip with a little extension to reach in there. And once the pilot's lit, you would continue to hold this down, usually about 60 seconds. And it's attached to a thermocouple, this whole unit is. That's what's cut off right here. There was this seemingly what looks like a copper wire, went all the way inside. Usually it's about anywhere from about, let's say 18 inches, sometimes as much as maybe 2 feet to reach the pilot inside your furnace. Well, you would hold this down, and a thermocouple is like a bimetal. I think there's a copper with like a metal inside, and it would actually heat up the probe at the end where the pilot is, and it would cause it to expand and push down inside, and then you'd be able to let go because it knew the pilot was on. Now your pilot light is on. Well, your furnace isn't going to kick on if you leave it in the pilot position, even though the pilot light has been lit. You would then have to twist it over to the on position. Now you're good to go, provided you got the right power. Usually your thermostat was connected up to this. It could be a couple rooms away in the house, but was it like I think it's like a 12 volt or 24 volt system would send a signal down to this thing, which then would open up another valve inside, because we've already opened up the pilot valve. So that's going to stay on indefinitely unless there's a strong gust of wind that comes down your chimney and blows your pilot out. Then you're back to this again, turning it, pushing it down, putting a match in there, lighting that pilot light, with the match on the end of an extension stick. Like I say, it usually takes about 60. On some of your older ones, it may go 2-3 minutes. I used to have a fireplace. I think I'd actually wedge a piece of wood because I would start to cramp up from holding down the pilot. I had a natural gas fireplace, logs, and it would take, I think, somewhere like 5 minutes before the thermocouple would tell it's on. So There you go. Now your furnace is working. And if it ain't working after you've done all that, chances are something is wrong inside here. So we're going to see what's inside here. They're pretty much non-serviceable. I guess if you were a diehard and you had one or two of these, or you knew somebody that worked at the right place that might have a part that would work on this, in theory you could service it, but usually you just chuck these and buy another one. Largely for safety reasons. You don't want to tamper with the inside. So this is a model number V800A1070 regulator. Gas valve regulator pretty much is what this is. It regulates the amount of pressure going to your furnace. Oh, it's tagged on both sides. And they have basically the same thing on a water heater too. But usually it's a little smaller. And I think largely the reason you're going to find that this unit is smaller, it's usually located on the front of your water heater with the red dial or something like that. So it's like kind of mounted sideways. And it usually is only like half this thickness. It probably has to do with the volume of gas that passes through it. A furnace takes a lot more, cubic feet of gas to operate than your water heater does. So let's grab some tools and start taking this one apart. Well, I was really bothered with the fact that I'm shooting videos on my phone on here, and it's so often I would reach up to hit the pause button. Well, there's a pause button is like the two white hash marks, and just a hair above it is a square, and down below is a white circle. So if you hit the square, you cut it off, and which means end of video. You have to start another video. So as you watch the timer, you're starting at 0000 again. So to avoid pushing the wrong button inadvertently, I place a piece of masking tape over the white square, because if I hit the white square, it's going to stop the video, and then I have to start it again, which means when I sit down and I go to, I use an editor called CapCut, and I have to try and link the videos together to create one longer one, where the simplest thing is to just make one long one in the beginning and just reach out and hit the pause in between my takes. Well, that's going to work with the tape over the blue, it's actually blue masking tape, painter's tape, over that square, so I don't inadvertently press the wrong button. But what happened is when I went to set you up in my tripod, putting it in there, I hit the switch on the side of the phone, which shut the phone off, which meant I had to start the video again, which means I'll be linking at least two videos together. Two videos ain't so bad, but when you're working with a cell phone, you don't want to be linking 4, 5, 6 videos together. It can be a little frustrating, especially trying to keep them in order, because I've had it where you think you're putting them in order, you try to put them in order, and then you watch what you've created, and it's like, okay, well, now the middle's at the beginning, and the beginning's at the end, and the end is in the middle. So I don't want that to happen. I'm trying to graduate to a GoPro. I bought one. I'm not liking it. It's an older model, so that's probably part of the problem. It is like right now I'm looking at myself on the screen on my phone. The GoPro I have, you can't do that. So you have to pretty much take it that you are in frame and focus and whatnot. So anyway, I told you I was going to get some tools. The toolbox is right over here. We're going to need a Phillips screwdriver. I could probably even use my impact gun. I think it's up in the showroom. Right now we're in the workshop. So the showroom is through that door. That's the first room that anybody comes into when they enter my establishment, the penny pinchers. So we are in the workshop right now. And the workshop still has a lot of things that are available for sale. Uh, I'd say about 80% of the stuff in this room is for sale. But it is my workshop, and I don't mind, customers coming through, because they actually have to go through to get to the room in the back there. Pretty much 90% of that stuff back there is for sale. But I am starting to increase my shop size, so there is some things over there in the way of power tools. But you can see my toolboxes. I have a sign up there that says, "Keep out of toolbox. Sorry," with a little frowny face. And over here, I've marked it private property. So I hope people take a hint. I mean, bottom line is, I would sell anything that's here in the building, but you may not like the price on the things that I feel I need and I'm using. I mean, in theory, I would sell these toolboxes, but I would have to get a most excellent price for them, because I would have to replace them myself. So even if I wanted to upgrade, I think I bought this toolbox here, the top and the bottom, and it actually came with another top and bottom older style Snap-on, and it had a good amount of tools with it. But I think I sold the older model Snap-on for what I paid for this box and the older model Snap-on and the collection of tools. I was able to quickly sell the other Snap-on and recover all my money, and I thought it was a really nice box here. Now the box over here on this side, I bought that when I was working at Goodyear Tire Change Center and Service Garage. Another mechanic working there was upgrading his toolbox. He got one of those probably twice the width as this one, and it was blue. And so even before they put this unit on I think it was Cornwell, and put it on his truck, I came to an agreement with I'd pay for this. So I bought it without it even going onto the man's truck when I was working at that place. So I'm glad I have these toolboxes. Some of my viewers know I have a place down in Florida. I don't have anything near either one of these down there. If I come across one at the right price, I'll be buying it. But I'll make do with what I have down there. I mean, I keep upgrading, so continue to watch my videos and you see what's going on down in Florida. Anyway, let's get back to the device. The gas valve. Move you in closer. All right, well, here's my impact gun right here anyway. Okay. Phillips screws. Oh, I could better chuck this down. See, I'm probably just going to end up throwing this in the trash when it's been dismembered, but, I expect to find springs and rubber diaphragms in here. Okay. Those are machine screws. I have a bad habit of saving a lot of hardware because I think I can always find another use for it. I like to build steampunk and industrial looking lamps, so I'm like, hey, I could hang on to this and make it an on-off switch for one of my lamps. But anyway, let's keep on here. Okay, like I say, there's a spring. Like I said, now I'm looking at the back of my cell phone like a GoPro. I can't see what the phone is seeing. So if I go around to the other side, and I'm going to do that, reverse, and just do this, and then I can see what you all are seeing at the same time. So you'll have to do without my head for a little while. Oh, slowly. Okay, some kind of retainer. It's retaining this spring in place. I'll probably save the spring. I'll probably save this retainer. I have a drawer of hardware with nothing but springs in it. Okay, a lot of Phillips screws. I wonder if they still make things like this with Phillips screws. Most of the things have changed to Torx. Oh, sounds like this is getting a little weak. All right, well, I took 2 screws out of that, and it's still in place. Oh, there's a slotted one right on top of it. Before I force the thing apart, let's open up that slotted one. Is that some kind of adjustment? Yeah, there's another. Here's a slotted plug. And I see a plastic down in there. I'm pretty sure that's an adjustment. Okay, so I'm not sure what's holding this in right now. Could be it's just sticky. Let's try and get a thinner screwdriver underneath it. I'm still looking for my cordless microphone, so if anybody's seen it, I believe it's in a little black pouch about that big. Ah, there we go. Come right off. Little diaphragm. This reminds me of a carburetor that I once had on my car. I used to drive a Pinto, and I think it was a 5200 series Holley carburetor. It had things like this on it. I mean, basically, this is a carburetor for natural gas. I mean, some vehicles actually can run on natural gas. I'm not sure what exactly you have to swap over. I think you swap over a carburetor to a natural gas carburetor. It could be something like this. I mean, if I was a younger man with less on my plate, I might say, hey, well, let's take the carburetor off and plumb this into the intake manifold and put a bottle of propane on and see what happens. But all right, well, this is coming out. Plastic set screw. And another spring. Look, come on, little spring. Come on, little guy. Don't be shy. It might be attached to the diaphragm, whatever. You can see that's 2 separate metals here. That's aluminum around it, and that might be aluminum also, but you can tell they're not molded together. There's actually tiny little peen. They peened this here, 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 4 places to keep this little unit in place. Well, let's break it down. We'll go to the other vise here. And see if we can't unpeen. Just because it's there. Inquiring minds want to know. See, now I'm behind the camera, so I have to raise my voice a little bit to make sure that it doesn't sound like I'm too far away. Okay. Unpeen. Now, if you were really trying to service this and reuse it, this would be kind of crude. Just wailing on it with a screwdriver. If I thought this diaphragm needed a replacement, I would probably try and be a little more delicate, get something maybe a little less sharp. But right now, we just want to open her up. Okay. I'm looking for a center punch of sorts. Here we go. If I stick it in these holes here, I can lift this. No. No, maybe if I unpeen with that, yeah. I appreciate the people that watched my last video on the Dremel. I mean, I am by no means a YouTube king, but that video, it's been one of my better ones. People are watching. I can't say by the tens of thousands, but I'm just digging in. There we go. Just digging into the side. Now I can cut the pins back. See, like an aluminum retainer. And here's a rubber diaphragm. Now, if this goes bad, I don't know what that would mean. Would your pilot not stay lit? I know I tend to be a jack of all trades, so I can't say with any certainty what I'm even looking at here right now. But that looks to be in good condition for what it is. So it doesn't look like it failed. I mean, the unit as a whole, I don't even know if anything failed on it. It could have just been scavenged because maybe the furnace was old and rusty and somebody decided to get a new furnace and that was taken off because they said, well, we'll keep this part in reserve. That happens. All right, well, back to the big vise. Okay, well, back to taking out Phillips screws again. Okay, 4 screws. I don't suspect that there's anything underneath this terminal block or not. The only problem with, though I can see what's going on this side of my phone, I can't enlarge or draw you closer like you can when it's on the other side. So I have to just pull the whole phone and tripod closer to bring you in closer. Okay, well, let's give it a little macaroni with the hammer. Let's say it's hammer time. Okay, so evidently there were only 4 screws holding that down. I thought maybe there could have been screws under that terminal block. I wasn't sure if I was going to have to get that off somehow, but okay. Now for the unveiling. Ta-da! Oh, well, that's just a solid piece of aluminum there. Well, there are some pathways. There again, it's a lot like a carburetor. Things going in and out and in and out into the block below. Yeah, there we go. Now you can see the holes here. Matching. See, you got a cork gasket. All right, let me put you on hold with Cousin Roy's calling. Well, that was Cousin Roy on the phone. And I thought, okay, you know, I'm still new to videoing with my phone. It is a phone, so here comes a phone call. So I thought, well, I'll hit the pause button. And I hit the right button. I hit pause. And I took the phone call, and we talked for, 2 minutes. And yet the phone lapsed into, or the video lapsed into stop. So this is segment 3 now. So now I got to work on putting 3 segments together when I sit down. I call it editing, but at the very least, it's editing, just connecting videos together. I know a lot of people, when they edit, they can do fade in, fade out, sound effects, background music, voiceover. I hope they get to that point someday. But all right, anyway, back to the valve. Like I said, pull this gasket off. It has holes in it, so things come from the top and wind their way down through here. All right, well, chunk of, that's got some kind of a coil in there. So that, you know, you'd have to have something because that's where the power comes in. So there's no power running through the down here. The electricity, what I think is 12 volts, is running through here and in there. So like I said, I'm trying to learn something, but I'm not learning a whole heck of a lot. But I do see if this coil is energized, it's going to pull this down. And that allows gas up here to pass through there, which tells this that, I guess, the pilot light's working. All right. I'm not so sure I know what I'm talking about, but I'm trying to put some perspective on it. Okay, now we have a big screw here. One big screw. All right, well, let's take the big screw off. Stop screwing around. Oh, pretty shallow. That's not even, that's more of a plug. That is some kind of a plug. And I can see a little, it says pilot adjust right next to it. Oh, okay. Down inside. Here, let me take you in closer. And this time when I put it back in this holder, I'm going to be sure not to hit the, accidentally hit the power button on the phone. Like I say, you got to watch you don't hit the stop on the screen, and I got to watch you don't hit the power button on the exterior of the phone. Anyway, there's a hole down there with an adjustment for your pilot. So if your pilot looks like it's the wrong color or it's too high or too low, you mess with that. All right, I'm going to put it back in the holder this time without bumping the power button. Okay. Well, there's nothing more on top I can take apart. We do see another cork gasket running around here. They don't, cork gaskets are kind of rare anymore. Everything is what, neoprene and silicone and rubber. You can see it, a lot of it right in there. Okay, well, let's do the flip side. Now, it was a year ago. I basically set my mind on producing some videos for my channel. And my very first video, not my first video gets stored on YouTube, but my very first video with the intent of trying to reach an audience per se, I did a year ago. And if you want to look it up, I think it's something about a crummy toaster. Yeah, dissecting a crummy toaster. Or here comes Cousin Roy. I keep doing things. This phone drives me nuts. Well, Cousin Roy came and Cousin Roy left. I thought I was videoing him, but as much as I try not to accidentally stop this camera, it still seems to happen. I mean, I've decreased the amounts of accidentally stopping it, but, and then when I thought I was running it, it was stopped. And sometimes when I think it's stopped, it's running. So, I don't know if anybody knows what's the perfect camera. I don't mind spending some money and getting something that is easy to work with. The features are obvious, the starts and stops and the pauses, and maybe even works with a remote. I tried this with a remote, this phone. A remote will stop the video, but it's a stop. It ends the video. So when you hit the remote again, it's starting another video. So I'm looking for something that will pause and then start again with a remote. All right, well, we were in the middle of getting this apart when Cousin Roy came in, taking the screws off the bottom. I'm going to pause this while I set it in the remote, in the tripod. Okay, I took 4 screws out of the bottom. They're long screws. I think they actually help sandwich 2 blocks of aluminum together. I showed you that gasket, but well, now that I got the screws off, let's pop this open. Like I said, that one video I was talking about that I did a year ago, I think it was dissecting a crummy toaster or something like that. And I did a video down in Florida working on a nail gun. But I put that back together. I didn't just take it apart. Okay. This is a steel plate. Big rubber O-ring here. Oh, that's a diaphragm. No jokes. This is a diaphragm. I see why they call it a diaphragm, huh? Because it's a diaphragm. Anyway, that, I guess, when this diaphragm moves, it pushes on that, which, that lets the gas, the main gas through, instead of just a pilot circuit. I guess it's in the rest position, and then the diaphragm gets sucked down and opens up the main gas, which allows all the burners to ignite. All right, there's a crazy spring. Looks like a clock spring. I'm not going to be too gentle. It looks like I'm just going to have to rip it out. There we go. Now I can see down inside. Let me take you and show you inside. You know what? Let's turn on some more light into the showroom, and I actually have a light switch right here. Used to have a pilot light on it. That didn't last too long. But you see the lights in the back room in the shop? Booyah. LEDs, baby. LEDs. If you got fluorescent, get rid of them. All right. I'm going to loosen this up a little bit. Tilt this back. You still can't see in that, right? I can see with my eyes. Okay, let me try and zoom in. I believe that is a shot part down in there. If I touch right there we go. You can see it looks like a little bit of rust and corrosion. I think, yeah, see how it's like flopping around on this pin, like it got oblonged. So I think that might have been the downfall of this valve. Yeah, there we go. Now you can really see it. So like I say, technically you could have serviced this if that was really what was wrong with it. That could have been replaced. But I would never advise anybody to repair these, because it's you'd have to be super sure of what you're doing, because of what things could go wrong. What if you did something wrong and this opened up when your pilot light wasn't lit? All right, well, I think we're going to take the plugs out on the side. I'm not sure why the plug's on the side. I mean, is there alternative directions you could have gone instead of coming out here. All right, well, you got one plug on that side and a plug on that side. So I'm gonna have to get the Allen wrench. I used to have a drawer full of Allen wrenches, but no longer. That's what's in that drawer. I said, I got 500 Allen wrenches, and for as often as I need them, they're taking up precious space in my toolbox. So I moved them to this back room here in the bin. Now that was a fairly decent size. Oh, is it this size? Nice view out there. Window's pretty nasty looking. I wish I could just wash it, but that's stained. And there's like mold inside there. Okay. It does not fit. So we must have quit. Screwdriver down. So what's okay? It's gonna be one of these, right? Now it's obvious that there's nothing to be seen or learned from taking out these plugs, but I just thought it might be nice to add them to my inventory of gas fittings. Let me show you my inventory of gas fittings. And I just went over these last week, sorting them out and disconnecting anything that was pieced several together. But there's my T's. There's my elbows. There's my caps. And down there's my plugs. And here's my threaded nipples. Here's my couplings. So I have all that stuff so I can build things like this. And like I said, this was already together, but I extended the leg on it with that fitting, and I built everything from here on up. But I built entire other creations. All right, well, I'm going to put you in the holder. Be careful not to hit the power button. And yeah, we're looking at this. Okay. That's a little too small. That one's a little too big. Well, I hope the one that's a little too small will work. It should. Yep. It's probably the difference between metric and SAE, or some people say American or regular, but tools on the in the United States, are SAE, even though they're half inch, quarter inch, SAE, Society Automotive Engineers. Okay. So these, once they're out, will go into my my plug collection over there. I don't have any like this right now, so they might actually come in handy. All right, 2 metal plugs, Allen style. And they got grease on them of some sort. I guess that's supposed to be pipe though. Oh, but it feels so much like grease. Just reach into the trash and pull out a paper towel. Slightly used paper towel. I just want to get the heavy glob off. Into the plug bin you go. All right. Now, we said there was a gasket there and along here, and I took out 4 screws. So I'm thinking that's going to separate there if I whack it with a hammer. Hello, lady. I'm making my video. The wife is coming.
Yeah, he's smart because he know how I get. Hello, video. Hello, guys. But need to be ready.
Okay. I got a couple more minutes here, and this is almost done.
All right. What are you working
We're tearing
on?
apart a natural gas valve for a furnace. There it goes. Popped it apart.
Good job.
Lots of cork in there.
I didn't know how close it was to the time, so I didn't get a chance to make lunch.
All right, well, I can't get this gasket off. It's held in place by the this part here. Oh, that pin will slide out. There's a this is a rocker of some sort. It looks like, reminds me of a valve rocker arm in a gasoline motor. But if we pull this pin out, that comes off. Gasket comes off. Okay, some things are look to be pinned together. Oh, this lifts out. Another spring. We're getting down to the end here. Oh, look at that. That is a neat looking cone. I've never suspected to find a cone in here. I guess that's because it goes into the cone-shaped hole. Now, that's basically the door to let the gas through. Okay, well, I'm going to take this little thermocouple off the top. I need a wrench. That's a 3/8. Actually, let me straighten this piece of copper out before I need the leverage, so I can straighten that piece of copper out. Now, thermocouples are serviceable. You know, if that's an issue, a lot of times you just replace this, like I said, 18-inch, 2-foot long lead thermocouple that goes to your pilot light, and that can often repair the issue with your furnace, that the pilot light keeps going out. But you can see right there, that's at the very end of the thermocouple. That's when the thermocouple gets heated, this will actually push inside. And what does it push inside? It's sloppy here. You use a pair of pliers rather than a wrench. No, it wasn't tight, so. Okay. Well, that's what's inside underneath your thermocouple. That goes up and down. Curious as to what's inside here. Okay, well, nothing else. We got some scrap aluminum here, right? What's this wick? All right, well, we tore it up. We tore it down. Okay, that pulled right out. And that was to this here. Or I hypothesized maybe it wasn't looking too healthy. But I don't see any holes in it though, so that might not have been, like I said, a failure. Yeah, I don't think that, because there's no seal along there. It's just a matter of this going up and down. So even though that looks a little nasty in that area, that wasn't a failure there. So like I said, there could have been nothing wrong with this. It could have just been, a furnace that was old and they wanted to upgrade, and somebody said, well, save that part because the last time I had to pay $200 for one of those, and I don't want to have to pay that much again. So, all right, well, we did it. We tore it apart. So now it's just a matter of me cleaning up this mess and uploading a video. So thank you for spending the time with me. This is Secondhand Dan signing off.